Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We are here once again doing something a little bit different and a little bit new. It is April after all. We are only a few months away from the release of College Football 26, so what better way for us to prepare for that than to tend to take a step back a little bit and look at the teams I think are going to make the biggest jump from year to year, either because of returning production, bringing in talent in the transfer portal, or some sort of mix of both. So in this potential new series, it kind of depends on what you guys think about this first one, I suppose, is if we keep going or not. We're gonna be looking at the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Just going forward, just as a heads up, we're not just gonna be talking about the overall best teams in College Football 26. Texas, I think, is going to be the best team. Ohio State's going to be really, really good. Georgia. Those guys, everyone knows those teams are going to be good. I'm looking for more of those Tier 3, Tier 4, maybe a few Tier 2 teams that I think are going to take big jumps from year to year. Let's just get it started. Let's head into the depth chart and why I think Texas Tech is going to be one of the best teams for you to use in College Football 26. So I think what's going to make them great is they have a really good mix of returning talent and their weak spots that they have on their current roster. They went after in the transfer portal in a big way. And yes, I do know there is the spring transfer portal window coming up here in about a week or so that opens up. But I'm thinking a lot of these big impact guys already went in the winter window. If there are some big changes that come up in spring here at the end of the month, we can always come back and revisit some of this stuff. And a common theme we're going to see in all the teams we potentially cover in this series is going to start at quarterback. That is going to be the biggest, most important thing. Texas Tech has got themselves a good one here with Morton. Now, he was banged up last year. He did miss their bowl game and had to have surgery, but it seems like from everything I can find and I have read, he is going to come back. He's going to be 100%. He is going to be good to go, coming off of a 3,327 touchdown, 8 interception season. I'm expecting his overall to go up quite a bit. He's already got great abilities, so even if those just stay baseline, the exact same, that is a great base to build off of. So he's currently an 83. I would guess he's going up to 87, 88, somewhere around there with a season like he had. Again, this is going to be me putting faith into EA, paying attention to these sort of things, which is a risky move. I'm going to admit that. But if I was doing the ratings, this is how I do them. This is how I'm hoping EA is going to do them. So right away, we're starting with a fantastic quarterback, and Texas Tech has one of the best playbooks in College Football 25. Not expecting it to change hardly at all, if at all, into College Football 26. Still going to be one of the best, still going to be very good. Where Texas Tech is going to get dinged a little bit is going to be at halfback. Taj Brooks, total monster, 92 overall, 88 speed. Look at those abilities he has. The perfect power back. I love this guy. Sad to see him go. He led the team by a mile in rushing last year. He had over 1,500 yards. Their second leading rusher, Jacoby Williams, not in the game. Their third leading rusher, Dickey, is also transferring out, but he hasn't committed anywhere, so it's possible he comes back. But honestly, not the biggest deal. Valdez is going to be coming back. He does have bronze 360, 90 speed. He only had 9 attempts all of last season, so I don't expect him to get a whole heck of a lot better. But this will be the first instance we see of Texas Tech dipping into that transfer portal to try to bring in some talent in weak spots on their roster. First, they headed out west and went to USC to grab their halfback, Quentin Joyner. 81 overall, 90 speed in this game. Last year, he had 63 carries for 478 yards. Pretty solid season. I could definitely see this going up a little bit, maybe an 83, 84. Still a big downgrade from Taj Brooks and a change in style. You go from the big bruising power back Brooks to an elusive back Quentin Joyner, but I expect he is going to be their starting halfback unless something big happens in the spring portal. That's still a pretty good get for Texas Tech. Again, filling the holes in their roster with the transfer portal, a theme we are going to see in quite a few positions. I had to check my notes there. It's a lot. But now at wide receiver for the Red Raiders, they are going to be missing quite a few of these guys. Josh Kelly, their leading receiver last year, at 89 catches, over 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns. A senior, unfortunately, no longer around. Who is still going to be around, though? Caleb Douglas, the second leading receiver on the team, had 60 for 877 and 6 scores. So I'm expecting his overall should get up to around where Josh Kelly is, around an 86, 87, something like that. Hopefully his speed goes up a little bit with that as well, which will give you a 6'4", we'll say 92 speed. I'll give Caleb Douglas 92 speed, 86 overall wide receiver, a great wide receiver 1. And also coming back is the third leading receiver for the Red Raiders, Coy Eakin. He had 49 catches, 652 yards, 7 touchdowns. So he has press pro and sure hands. Not the best abilities, but pretty dang good ones. And I'm assuming, again, I'm doing a lot of assuming. It's a risky move. But I think the abilities are pretty much going to stay the same year over year. I don't think they're going to really be taking abilities away from people that had them in this game. Same reason I don't think they really downgraded people too harshly throughout the season. They don't want to ruffle any feathers. They want all the players to keep signing with them. They don't want any of these guys saying, hey, last year I had silver sure hands. Now you took it away from me. No, I'm not going to sign with you guys. Stuff like that. I think a lot of these abilities are going to stay the same. Eakin's definitely going to get a boost, hopefully speed-wise. If he can get up to a 90 speed, Douglas is 92. That's a pretty solid 1-2 punch at wide receiver. LJ Johnson, we are going to have next year here as well. He's already 92 speed. He was redshirted this year, though, so he might go up a little bit, kind of like what you see in the Dynasty if you redshirt somebody for a season. Hopefully he can, just a small increase there, and that already gives us a good top 3. Everybody else, I believe, is leaving. Senior. Hudson is transferring to Texas A&M, who is the team I will be talking about later if we keep making this series. They are going to be insane. And they do have another transfer coming in, but it's somebody actually not in the game right now. The Maryland wide receiver, Reggie Virgil, rated as a 4-star transfer. So if he's in the game next year, I don't know, another 75 to 80 overall wide receiver. Give you a pretty good base of 4 to go off of there. But next, their tight end. This is going to be another transfer portal savior because they are losing both their top 2 here, Jalen Conyers and Thorpe. They will still have Jean-Carlos Miller, but he didn't catch a single pass for the Red Raiders last year. So instead, again, they go to the transfer portal. This time, east. Had to think about that for a second. To the great state of Louisiana to snag Terrence Carter. Guy looks like an animal. 88 overall, 84 speed, 6'2", 239, so a little bit small for a tight end. But he did have 48 catches, 689 yards, and 4 touchdowns last year. So he could go up maybe a 90, get his speed up to an 86, 87. This offense is insane all of a sudden. You get those 4, not great, but really good wide receivers. Quentin Joyner, expect him to take a good jump. Morton to take a good jump. Bring this tight end in. Baby, you got a stew going here with the Texas Tech offense combined with that really good air raid playbook. Texas Tech, watch out for this offense next year. I'm telling you. I'm not really going to talk about offensive line. I don't think it's super hugely important in this game, so we're going to kind of skip over that. Let's go defensive line, where talk about transfer portal. We'll be talking about it for a little while here with Texas Tech. So just about everybody we see on their roster in this game is going to be on the roster in the next game. It's a lot of freshmen, juniors, not really anybody transferring out, anybody of impact anyway. Like Rigsby, Rigsby is staying with the outside disruptor, inside disruptor, good for run stuffing. But really this was, in this game and in real life, wasn't a great defensive line. Their leading sack getter, Jaden Cofield, only had 2. So Texas Tech decided to look all over this great country. They are bringing in 4 pretty impactful defensive line transfers, starting at Georgia Tech. In their quick jump defensive end, Romello Height, 85 overall, 83 speed. Now last year he did only have 2.5 sacks. He had 4 the year before at USC. This guy's jumped around a lot. He was at Auburn for 2 years, USC for 2 years, Georgia Tech for 1, now going to Texas Tech. A little out of control here, buddy. But I could definitely see him getting, at least, I mean, even if they keep him in 85, that's a plus 10 improvement on who Texas Tech currently has. And he did have 7 tackles for loss, so he is still getting in the backfield, blowing up some runs. And assuming he keeps his quick jump ability, huge, massive, desperately needed upgrade at defensive end for Texas Tech. Now they shore up the interior first by going to, where are my notes? There it is, Central Florida. And their stud D tackle, Lee Hunter, pocket disruptor, and duress. Again, we are assuming all abilities are at least going to stay the same, if not get better. He only had 1 sack last year, but he had 10 tackles for loss in 2024. He had 11 in 2023 with 3 sacks. And much like we just saw with Romello Height, even if he does just stay an 85 overall with pocket disruptor and arrest, that's a bit better than 74 overall D tackles Texas Tech was currently working with. So already 2 massive upgrades on the defensive front, and it doesn't stop there. Next, they had to come take for me of all teams. Look at my little jersey. You make me do this? Yeah, they went to DeKalb. Yeah, they took a Northern Illinois player. Let's go take a look. Skylar Gill Howard from the beloved Northern Illinois Huskies was a stud last year. Yes, only 74 overall in this game because they just didn't care about Northern Illinois and never changed any of the ratings throughout the season. 5 sacks for a defensive tackle with 8 tackles for losses. This guy is a stud. I expect him, he should, maybe now that he's going to Texas Tech, they'll actually show him some attention and a little appreciation. He should go up to at least like an 82 at bare minimum. As a defensive tackle coming off of a 5 sack, 8 tackle for loss, 51 total tackle season, you got to get him up into the 80s, give him some abilities. I'll always be rooting for you, Skylar. Wish you stayed at Northern Illinois, though. To be honest, a little bothered by that, but that's just the landscape of college football, isn't it? Anybody who has one good season at Northern Illinois, that's going to be their only season at Northern Illinois. Go get your bag. Go have fun. Best of luck to you, Skylar. But Texas Tech didn't stop there. They got one more defensive tackle coming, this time from University of Houston. And Anthony Holmes Jr., the sophomore. That's kind of confusing, but that's what it is. 2 sacks last season, 9 tackles for losses, though, so getting in there, blowing up some runs. 40 total tackles, 19 solo, 21 assisted. So they are really shoring up that defensive line. Between those 4 transfers, there's a couple more. They really went nuts on the transfer portal. I didn't look at every single addition they had. Just try to pick out some of the bigger impact guys. But yeah, between these 4, that's a whole new starting defensive line. They might kick one of those guys off the edge, one of those, because we did look at 3 defensive tackles here. But still, even just now you have 2 really good starting D tackles and a rotational guy. You got a great edge rusher in Romello Height. The defensive line, they were probably 73 overall. Now they're going to be up into the 80s. That's a massive jump for this defense. I'm expecting huge things from the Texas Tech defensive line next year with all the new faces they are bringing in. Where they didn't need to bring in any new faces, and then they actually did bring in one more, is going to be at the linebacker position. So much like what we saw with the defensive line, pretty much all the linebackers at Texas Tech are staying. They will be in the game next year, but these guys were a little bit more productive than we saw out of the Texas Tech's defensive line. First, we have Isaac Smith, power rushing outside linebacker, had 2.5 sacks, more than anybody, more than any of the defensive ends on the Red Raiders, so he will be back next year. Middle linebacker Ben Roberts, blow up hammer, wrap up aftershock, yep, he's back as well as the second leading tackler on the team. Dingle, I was curious about him because he had 87 speed. He is still on the team, but on Texas Tech's official site, he's listed as a defensive back, so he might be moving to safety or something like that. But if they keep him at middle linebacker, that's a pretty dang good user in there too with that speed. And then at right outside linebacker, Rodriguez, the team's leading sack getter, he had 5 last year, also coming back. All starting linebackers are back, and I'm not sure if he might be the other defensive end, and that'd be 4 whole new transfer guys, but they did get an outside linebacker, at least in this game he's listed as an outside linebacker, from the Stanford Cardinal and their freaky mascot, where they got David Bailey, who's already a monster. 93 overall, 85 speed, 7 sacks last season. There's no chance he doesn't get quick jump or some sort of pass rushing ability. 100% obviously, even if he stays at left outside linebacker, gonna be an edge rusher for the team. And this guy alone is gonna make the defense miles better. Add him on top of those linebackers coming back and getting improvements from how well they played last year. Add that on top of those transfer portal defensive line we got coming in. And that front 7 of Texas Tech is going to be insane. Like, this team is going to be so good next year. I cannot wait to see it. But yeah, 93 overall, 85 speed, David Bailey. Welcome to the Red Raiders, my guy. Now, the secondary is the last piece for us to look at here, where they are actually taking quite a bit of a hit. Braylon Lux, senior, ball hawk blanket coverage, out of here. Peoples, 90 speed, going to North Dakota State, of all places. 98 speed, Miles Thompson. Guess where he's going, buddy? We just made a trade. Welcome to the Huskies, my guy. 98 speed corner. Get your way over here to DeKalb. You guys take Gil Howard. We'll take your 69 overall, 98 speed cornerback. But returning for one more year is going to be Maureen Horn, 91 speed, 79 overall, pretty solid, and McCarty, 78 overall, 90 speed. Again, not great. You're hoping for better. But McCarty was 3rd on the team in interceptions. It only took 2 to be 3rd on the team, but that's what he got. That's why he's there. So he should get a pretty solid improvement here. But this is another position group that Texas Tech dipped their toes into the transfer portal in, starting from the SEC and the Mississippi State Bulldogs. In their cornerback one, Bryce Pollock, 6'1", 190, so pretty good size, 81 overall, 90 speed, really solid. Only had 1 interception last year, but had 9 passes defended, so a solid season, a solid pickup for a cornerback room that desperately needed one. And again, just even if he just stays the same, 81 overall with 90 speed, you're getting a good enough secondary going here. And they did also go to the mountains of El Paso and grab themselves Amir Boyd Matthews. The spelling is different depending on where you look, so I'm not entirely sure if there's an E in his first name or not. But last year he did have himself 2 interceptions, 3 passes defended, forced fumble, and got in there for a tackle of loss each of the last 2 years. So I imagine he's going to get a little bit better, not a ton, maybe like up to a 75, 76 or something like that, but get him up to 90 speed. Now we got 4 corners, at least with 90 speed, a decent enough cornerback room. But it's not like a massive downgrade, especially when we consider the massive upgrades we've already seen on the defensive line and that linebacker room. So overall, I think Texas Tech defense still looking in a good spot. Last positions we're going to look at here are the safeties, where everybody we see here is going to be sticking around. Chapman Lewis, who is second on the team with 3 interceptions. You also have 96 speed, Jordan Sanford. With Lewis getting 3 interceptions, you got to think he's going to be getting better here as well. He's already at 88.1 overall, 88 speed. If we can get that up to an 84, 85 overall with 90 plus speed, with Sanford, you could put one at strong safety if you wanted to. You could put one at sub linebacker. You're going to have options at the free safety spot here with Texas Tech, and a lot of good options. 6'1", 6 foot, good size, good speed, good everything. No transfers here really between either of the safety positions, but with these guys coming back and having the year Lewis had, I think they're going to be in a pretty good spot. Yeah, at strong safety, though, they are hurting a little bit because Baskerville, who was the team leader with 4 interceptions, senior, he's going to be gone. Plunk, senior, he's going to be gone. Not a huge loss there. 71 overall, 86 speed. Escara staying, Jordan staying. So this is why I was thinking, you know, you could easily put Sanford here or Lewis here, have those 2 be your starting safeties. And all of a sudden, this Texas Tech defense is looking really solid. So overall, Texas Tech Red Raiders. I'm not going to look at kicker and punter and everything. At the end of college football 25, they are an 85 overall, 85 offense, 82 defense. Where are they going to be to start college football 26? Overall wise, I think their offense is going to get a little better. Not a lot. Maybe like an 87, somewhere on there. Defense is going to be close to that. With the transfers they got, and as long as they actually put the improvements in on those linebackers, they could be up to an 86, 87 on defense, boost their overall up to 88, somewhere around there, and they are going to be absolutely one of the best teams to use in college football 26. So that's going to do it for our Texas Tech Red Raiders preview. If you guys did like this kind of style of thing, please leave a like, leave a comment, let me know. And I've got, like I said, I have a list of, I think it's about 10 teams that I think can really make a jump for next year's game. That'll be really fun to use in the road to CFP or Dynasty or anything like that. But yep, that'll do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Till then, take it easy.